You are the master of your fate. Let's begin.
Have you ever felt it? That familiar sting of being utterly misunderstood. Like your words just aren't landing, or you're completely missing what others are truly trying to say. Perhaps it's an argument that escalates for no clear reason, a crucial message at work that goes astray, or a relationship that feels strained by unspoken tensions. This isn't just annoying, it's a silent, insidious thief. Miscommunication steals time, money, opportunities, and most importantly, the vital human connection that fuels all great achievements. It leads to frustration, resentment, and ultimately, stagnation in both your professional and personal life. It's the invisible wall separating you from your highest potential. For decades, I observed the individuals who built empires and left lasting legacies. The Carnegies, the Fords, the Edisons of the world. They weren't just brilliant thinkers, they were master communicators. They understood that the power to influence, to build, and to lead stemmed directly from their ability to convey their definite chief aim with crystal clarity and to understand others with profound accuracy. They didn't leave communication to chance. They made it a science, a deliberate art. In this powerful, practical guide, I'm going to expose the common pitfalls that create misunderstanding, revealing the hidden walls that block connection. I'll then provide my blueprint for crystal clear expression, teach you the lost art of true listening, equip you with strategies to navigate even the most difficult conversations, and show you how to build unshakable rapport and trust in every single interaction. It's time to stop talking past each other and start connecting deeply. Let's master the art of communication together. You've likely felt the frustration. You speak, you explain, you believe you've been clear, only to find out later that your message was twisted, missed entirely, or simply didn't land as you intended. Or perhaps you've been on the receiving end, trying desperately to understand someone else, but feeling like you're speaking entirely different languages. This isn't just bad luck. It's the silent work of invisible walls that stand between us and genuine understanding. Most people go through their lives bumping into these walls, constantly frustrated, never quite realizing what's blocking the connection. Accurate thinking requires that you separate facts from fiction and use only the facts in making decisions. This principle, which I observed in the minds of the most successful individuals, applies profoundly to how we interpret and send messages. We often operate under a critical yet false assumption that others understand our intentions, our context, or our unspoken expectations. We speak from our own unique map of the world, forgetting that everyone else is navigating with a different one. This is the root of the problem. Here are the most common invisible walls that lead to misunderstanding, sabotaging your efforts to connect. 1. The unclear purpose wall, speaking without a destination. The problem: we often start talking without truly knowing what we want the other person to do, feel, or understand as a result of our words. We just want to express ourselves or vent. The cost: communication without a clear, definite purpose becomes rambling, confusing, and ultimately ineffective. It leaves the listener guessing, and vague words almost always lead to vague understanding. 2. The emotional noise wall, when feelings override facts. The problem: our own emotions, anger, fear, impatience, defensiveness, can distort the message we send, making it harsh, vague, or accusatory. Likewise, when receiving a message, our emotional filters can twist the speaker's intent. The cost: emotions create static. They prevent accurate thinking and clear reception, turning a simple conversation into a minefield of misinterpretations and hurt feelings. 3. The rush to respond wall, listening to reply, not to understand. The problem: many people aren't truly listening. They're waiting for their turn to speak, formulating their response while the other person is still talking. The cost: this means you miss crucial details, emotional nuances, and the true underlying message. You respond to only half the picture, leading to frustrating conversations where both parties feel unheard. 4. The implicit assumption wall, believing others know what you know. The problem: you assume others share your context, your background knowledge, your priorities, or your specific terminology. You leave out vital information because they should just know. The cost: this creates enormous gaps in understanding. What's obvious to you is completely invisible to someone else, leading to confusion, errors, and the feeling that you're talking to a brick wall. These invisible walls separate us, creating frustration where connection should be. But just like any wall, once you identify it, you can begin to dismantle it. If these are the walls, how do we build the bridges? How do we construct messages that cannot be misunderstood? And how do we truly hear what's being said and what's not being said? In the next section, I will give you my blueprint for crystal clear expression, providing the practical steps to ensure your words land precisely as you intend. In the previous section, we identified the invisible walls that block true understanding, the assumptions, the emotional noise, the listening to reply habit, and the lack of clear purpose. Now, let's learn how to systematically dismantle those walls. I observed that individuals who achieved phenomenal success, those who built vast organizations and inspired millions, were masters of expression. Their words were never wasted. They knew that vague desires produce vague results. Vague words produce vague understanding. This applies equally to your daily conversations as it does to grand speeches. Every definite chief aim, when clearly stated, becomes a magnet for its fulfillment. The same power applies to your words. Masterful communication begins with crystal clear expression. It's about constructing your messages so precisely that misunderstanding becomes almost impossible. Here is my blueprint for ensuring your words land exactly as you intend. 1. Define your definite purpose before you speak or write. The practice. This is the absolute first step, and it's often overlooked. Before you open your mouth, before you type a single word, pause and ask yourself, what is the single most important thing I want this person to understand, feel, or do as a result of this communication? Is it to inform, to request, to persuade, to console, to clarify? The power. Having a definite purpose acts as a filter for your words. Every sentence you utter, every point you make, must serve that primary objective. This eliminates rambling, irrelevant details, and confusion. It ensures your message has a clear target. 2. Simplify and condense. The practice. Once you know your purpose, strip away all unnecessary complexity. Use simple, direct language. Avoid jargon, overly academic terms, or lengthy explanations when a concise one will do. Imagine you have only 30 seconds to convey your core message. What are the essential points? The power. Simplicity is clarity. The fewer words you use to convey your point, the more impactful each word becomes. This reduces the cognitive load for your receiver, making it easier for them to grasp and retain your message. 3. Structure for clarity, problem, solution, action. The practice. When you need to convey information, make a request, or solve a problem, give your message a logical structure. A highly effective framework is: state the situation problem clearly. What is the current state? Present your proposed solution idea. What's your suggestion? State the specific action required. What do you need the other person to do next? The power. This framework provides a clear, logical pathway for the listener's mind to follow. It moves them from understanding the current state through your proposed path to a concrete next step, significantly increasing the likelihood of understanding and compliance. 4. Verify understanding, the feedback loop. The practice. Never assume your message was received as intended. After you've conveyed your information, consciously invite feedback. Ask open-ended questions like, does that make sense? What are your thoughts on this? To ensure I've been clear, could you summarize what we've agreed upon? The power. This step is your insurance policy against misunderstanding. It actively reveals any gaps in comprehension before they become costly errors or frustrating conflicts. It also makes the other person feel heard and involved, building rapport. Think of yourself as a master architect. You wouldn't hand over a rough sketch and expect a skyscraper to be built. You provide a precise blueprint. Your words are the blueprints for your ideas, your requests, and your intentions. Mastering clear expression is vital, but it's only half of the communication equation. The other half lies in truly understanding what others are conveying to you, not just what they're saying. In the next section, I will teach you the lost art of true listening, moving beyond merely hearing words to understanding meaning, emotions, and unspoken cues. You now have the blueprint for crystal clear expression. You know how to send your message with purpose and precision. But masterful communication, I tell you, is a two-way street. It is not just about how well you speak, but how profoundly you listen. And here in our modern, fast-paced world, we have largely lost this crucial art. Most people do not listen with the intent to understand. They listen with the intent to reply. Their minds are already formulating their next sentence while the other person is still speaking, waiting impatiently for their turn to jump in. This is not listening. It is simply waiting to talk. Accurate thinking, which is essential for success, requires a genuine desire to gather all facts, free from personal bias. This applies equally to listening as it does to analysis. When you listen only to reply, you miss critical information, subtle emotional cues, and the true underlying message. You respond to only a fraction of what's being communicated, leading to frustrating conversations where both parties feel unheard and misunderstandings continue to fester. Here are the actionable steps to reclaim the lost art of true listening, allowing you to understand not just the words, but the world of the person speaking to you. 1. Listen to understand, not to reply the quiet mind. The practice. This requires discipline. When someone is speaking, consciously quiet your internal monologue. Don't formulate your answer. Don't rehearse your rebuttal. Focus 100% of your attention on the other person's words, their tone of voice, their body language, and the emotions they are conveying. The power. By silencing your own internal commentary, you create space to truly absorb the full message. This allows you to grasp the nuances, the underlying feelings, and the complete picture, rather than just snippets. This simple act makes the other person feel genuinely heard and valued. 2. Ask clarifying questions, the curious mindset. The practice. Instead of assuming you understand or making interpretations based on incomplete information, ask open-ended, non-judgmental questions to deepen your understanding. Examples. When you say X, what exactly do you mean by that? Can you give me an example of what that looks like? How does that make you feel about the situation? The power. Clarifying questions fill in gaps, uncover hidden assumptions, and reveal the speaker's true meaning. They demonstrate genuine interest and commitment to understanding, which rapidly builds trust. 3. Summarize and reflect, active listening. The practice. Periodically paraphrase what you've heard in your own words. This is not just repeating. Use phrases like, "So, if I'm understanding correctly, you're saying X, Y, and Z. Is that right?" Or, if emotions are present, "It sounds like you're feeling frustrated about this particular challenge." The power. This step provides immediate confirmation that you've received the message as intended, correcting any misunderstandings on the spot. It also powerfully validates the speaker's thoughts and feelings, making them feel truly heard and understood, which is a powerful foundation for rapport. 4. Recognize unspoken cues, the observer's eye. The practice. Words are only one part of communication. Pay close attention to nonverbal cues, body language, posture, gestures, eye contact, facial expressions, tone of voice, pace of speech, and even what's not being said, long pauses, changes in topic. The power. Discrepancies between words and unspoken cues often reveal deeper meaning, unexpressed feelings, or true intentions. Becoming adept at reading these signals gives you a far richer, more accurate understanding of the complete message. Think of yourself as a skilled detective. A true detective doesn't just listen to the first few words. They gather all the evidence, ask probing questions, and observe every detail before drawing conclusions. Mastering true listening transforms your interactions. It builds bridges where walls once stood. But what happens when communication inevitably gets tense? How do you navigate arguments, disagreements, and difficult news without sacrificing relationships or your purpose? In the next section, I will show you how to master navigating difficult conversations with power. You now possess the keys to clear expression and the profound ability to truly listen. These skills will transform the vast majority of your daily interactions. But life, by its very nature, will present you with moments of friction. There will be disagreements. There will be difficult truths to deliver. There will be conflicts that demand resolution. Many people, even those who strive for clear communication, falter here. They either avoid difficult conversations altogether, allowing resentment and unresolved issues to fester and poison relationships, or they approach them reactively, turning a potential resolution into a destructive argument. Problems are not solved by avoiding them. They are solved by facing them squarely, with accurate thinking and a definite purpose for resolution. I observed that truly powerful individuals, those who built and maintained vast networks and overcome formidable obstacles, did not shy away from conflict. Instead, they approached difficult conversations with a specific strategy, transforming potential breakdowns into opportunities for stronger understanding and greater progress. They understood that unaddressed problems only grow larger in the dark. Here are my actionable strategies for approaching difficult conversations with power, ensuring you achieve constructive outcomes without sacrificing relationships or your definite chief aim. 1. Define your definite purpose and desired outcome before you speak. The practice. Before you even think about starting a difficult conversation, get absolutely crystal clear on two things. 1. Your definite purpose. What is the one most important thing you need to achieve? Is it to gain understanding, to set a boundary, to find a solution, to apologize? 2. Your desired outcome. What does a successful resolution look like for you? What do you want the situation to look like afterward? The power. This single step is the most critical. It prevents the conversation from spiraling into a chaotic argument or a pointless rant. It keeps you anchored to a constructive goal, even when emotions run high, guiding your words and actions toward resolution. 2. Choose your time and place wisely. The practice. Never initiate a difficult conversation spontaneously when either party is stressed, rushed, tired, or in a public setting. Instead, respectfully request a specific time and private place for a focused discussion. Could we schedule 15 minutes to talk about X sometime tomorrow when we both have a moment? The power. This creates an environment conducive to calm, rational dialogue rather than reactive arguments. It signals to the other person that this conversation is important and deserves dedicated, uninterrupted attention. 3. Focus on the problem, not the person. Facts versus accusations. The practice. When you speak, use I statements. I feel X when Y happens, instead of you statements. You always do Z. Stick to observable facts and behaviors, not interpretations, assumptions, or personal attacks. Describe the impact of the behavior rather than labeling the person. The power. This dramatically reduces defensiveness. When you focus on the behavior or the situation, the other person is less likely to feel attacked and more likely to engage with the problem itself, opening the door for collaborative solutions. 4. Propose solutions, don't just complain. The practice. Come to the conversation prepared with at least one potential solution, a constructive path forward, or a suggestion for how you both can move towards a resolution. The power. This shifts the dynamic from merely identifying problems or venting frustrations to actively problem solving. It demonstrates your commitment to a positive outcome and invites the other person to join you in finding a resolution rather than just listening to complaints. Think of yourself as a skilled surgeon. A surgeon doesn't hack away blindly. They make precise, deliberate cuts to heal, not to harm. Likewise, a master communicator approaches difficult conversations with precision, empathy, and a clear intent to mend and build, not to destroy. By mastering these strategies, you transform confrontations into collaborations. You stop avoiding the necessary and start building stronger, more resilient relationships. In our final section, we will elevate your communication mastery even further by focusing on the ultimate goal, building unshakable rapport and trust in every interaction. You now wield formidable communication tools, the clarity of your expression, the power of true listening, and the strategic wisdom to navigate even the most difficult conversations. These are the sharp instruments of effective interaction. But to truly master communication, to move beyond mere transactions and into profound influence, you must cultivate the ultimate foundation, unshakable rapport and trust. No one can command success without the willing and harmonious cooperation of other people. This unwavering truth, a cornerstone of every great achievement I observed, is built entirely on the bedrock of trust. Without it, even the most eloquent words fall flat and the sharpest strategies crumble. Trust is the currency of influence. When rapport and trust are present, misunderstandings melt away with ease, conflicts become opportunities for deeper understanding, and collaborations flourish. People don't just hear your words. They feel your genuine intent and respond with open minds and willing spirits. This is the ultimate expression of the mastermind principle applied to communication. Here are the actionable steps to cultivate an environment of unshakable rapport and enduring trust in all your interactions. 1. Seek mutual benefit, the win-win mentality. The practice. In every interaction, consciously look for ways that both parties can gain value. Before engaging, ask yourself, how can this conversation, this agreement, this collaboration be beneficial for everyone involved? The power. This shifts your mindset from competition to cooperation. When people genuinely believe you have their best interests at heart, even partially, they drop their guard, become more open to your ideas, and are far more willing to cooperate. It fosters long-term, resilient relationships. 2. Practice sincere appreciation and recognition. The practice. Make it a habit to genuinely acknowledge and praise others' efforts, contributions, and ideas. Express gratitude frequently and specifically. Instead of a generic "good job," try, "I really appreciated how you handled X situation. Your quick thinking saved us Y." The power. Humans crave recognition and appreciation. When you sincerely value others and vocalize that value, you build strong emotional bonds. People are naturally more receptive and open to communicate with those who make them feel seen, respected, and appreciated. 3. Be consistent and reliable. Integrity in action. The practice. Your words must be consistent with your actions. Follow through on your promises, no matter how small. Be punctual. Respond when you say you will. Let your behavior consistently align with what you communicate. The power. Integrity is the absolute bedrock of trust. Inconsistency, broken promises, or unreliable communication erodes trust faster than almost anything else. By demonstrating unwavering reliability, you build a reputation for trustworthiness that precedes you and opens doors. 4. Empathize and validate feelings, even if you disagree. The practice. You don't have to agree with someone's perspective or their choices, but you can always acknowledge and validate their feelings. Use phrases like, "I can see why you'd feel frustrated about that. That sounds incredibly challenging." Or, "It makes sense that you're worried about X." The power. This creates a psychologically safe space for open communication. When people feel their emotions are understood and respected, they are far more likely to listen to your perspective, even if it differs from their own. It disarms defensiveness and encourages a collaborative spirit. When communication is mastered at this level, misunderstandings become rare, conflicts transform into opportunities for growth, and your ability to influence, to lead, and to build enduring, powerful relationships becomes limitless. You are no longer just a speaker or a listener. You are a builder of bridges, a weaver of understanding. This is not merely a skill. It is a master power that will unlock doors in every area of your life. In our final concluding segment, I will give you the ultimate motivation and the immediate action steps to make this mastery your daily practice, transforming your entire world. You have now journeyed through a profound transformation. You've uncovered the invisible walls that block understanding, adopted my blueprint for crystal clear expression, reclaimed the lost art of true listening, mastered the strategy for navigating difficult conversations, and learned to build unshakable rapport and trust. Communication is the mighty lever by which you move the world. Master it, and you master your destiny. Understand this truth deeply. Communication is not just a skill. It is a master power. It is the currency of influence, the very foundation of every achievement, and the bridge to every single meaningful connection you will ever forge in your life. It is the conduit through which your definite chief aim manifests into reality. In a world often plagued by misinterpretation, conflict, and superficial connection, you now possess a rare and profound advantage. You have chosen the path of deliberate communication mastery, the conscious cultivation of an environment where clarity reigns, understanding thrives, and your relationships become powerful alliances. Stop letting ambiguity sabotage your efforts. Speak with purpose and ensure your message lands. Stop simply hearing words. Listen with your entire being to truly understand the heart and mind behind them. Stop avoiding necessary conversations. Approach them strategically, turning friction into resolution and growth. The wealth you desire, the influence you seek, the profound relationships you yearn to build, all of it hinges upon your ability to communicate with mastery. Your capacity to convey your vision, to inspire cooperation, and to resolve conflict with precision and grace will define the limits of your success and the depth of your personal fulfillment. Do not let misunderstanding rob you of your destiny. Speak with purpose. Listen with intent. Build with trust. For in mastering your words, you will truly master your world, unlocking connections and opportunities you never thought possible. You've now been given a profound understanding of communication, transforming it from a common struggle into a powerful tool for influence and connection. This isn't just theory. It's a practical, actionable system designed to elevate every interaction in your life. To ensure this knowledge transforms into tangible results, you must put it into immediate, consistent action. Here are the key takeaways to ingrain into your mind. followed by your immediate assignment. Key takeaways to masterful communication. 1. Misunderstanding is often internal. It stems from unmanaged thoughts, unstated purposes, and unverified assumptions, not just external factors. 2. Express with crystal clarity. Always define your definite purpose before speaking. Simplify your message, structure for clarity, and verify understanding. 3. Master true listening. Go beyond hearing to truly understand. Silence your internal monologue. Ask clarifying questions, summarize, and observe unspoken cues. 4. Navigate difficult conversations strategically. Define your desired outcome. Choose the right time, place. Focus on the problem, not the person, and propose solutions. 5. Build unshakable rapport and trust. Seek mutual benefit. Practice sincere appreciation. Be consistent and validate feelings to create strong, lasting connections. Now for your immediate real-world assignment. This is where your spiritual commitment meets practical action. Do not let this vital knowledge remain dormant. Implement it starting today. 1. The definite purpose communication, daily habit. For the next 7 days before any important conversation, for example, a work meeting, a family discussion, a client call, or even a serious text message, take 60 seconds to define, what is the one most important thing I want the other person to understand or do as a result of this communication? Keep this definite purpose in mind as you communicate. 2. The active listening challenge. In your next conversation, in your very next significant conversation with someone, a colleague, friend, or family member, consciously commit to not interrupting them. When they finish before you respond, summarize what you heard in your own words to them. Use a phrase like, "So, if I'm understanding correctly, you're saying X, is that right?" 3. The polite clarifying question, new skill. The next time someone communicates something vague or unclear to you, instead of guessing or making assumptions, politely ask a clarifying question. Examples: could you give me an example of what you mean by that? Or, what exactly does that look like in practice? Or, could you elaborate a bit more on X? You have the power to transform every interaction, build profound connections, and accelerate your journey towards your definite chief aim. Embrace these principles, for in mastering your words and your listening, you will truly master your world. Which of these communication practices will you implement first to bridge the gap of misunderstanding? Share your commitment in the comments below. Let's build a community of clarity and connection.
Remember, your success begins the moment you decide to act.